Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Natale in Arte International Exhibition, whose main theme is the glance towards the future. Why this theme? Because in art, in the history of art and artists has always been a witness of the changes in the society that were happening in the society. Above all, in the period starting from the end of the 19th century until the first half of the 20th century, where the most fast and deep changes were happening in society and in the world, with the technologies and all the discoveries of the period. Class struggles, industrialization, and all what happened in the end of the 19th century was very important to transform everyday's life and common people's life, and also the way of expressing feelings by the artist. And for example, the Industrial Revolution changed completely the way of working, because people become being sick of earn money to few landowners, and while they were earning a little bit money, just sufficient to survive. And this theme was the basis of one of the most important movements of the end of the 19th century, that is social realism, which then evolved in neorealism, and of which Pelizza da Volpedo, Quarto Stato, is the symbol, even if on the other side of the ocean, muralism of the great master Diego Rivera was witness of the invisible people, invisible feelings and way of living, that it was important, and thanks to art emerged. In the same time, while in this part of artists wanted to underline the disease in society, on the other side, and the disease also to face all these changes and technological changes, discovering, for example, that of reproducing images that change completely the way of thinking about impressing ourselves by photographing instead of an artwork. And I was telling that at the same time there was a great group of artists, especially in Europe, who wanted to celebrate the new model of life of the new bourgeoisie, the new richness, the new love for a light life, and to enjoying moments, as for example Art Nouveau, of which Henri de Toulouse-Lautrec, with his paintings dedicated to the dissolute world of the night, were a symbol of this new bourgeoisie that wanted only to spend money they are starting to earn. And Impressionism too. Impressionism, where the great master wanted to photograph and this way of enjoying, and this little trip of common people in the open air situation, where where it was important to underline this new joy of living. And all of this stopped with the beginning of the First World War, where all the certainties, all it was known and sure lost its sense, and changed the way of looking at reality, and also it became burning a new feeling where people need to find a contact with inner feelings, with a sensitivity, with emotions, because they could haven't been taken away by any external event. And this was very important, and this looking for a different way to express by art was the basis of the Expressionism, an important movement born in Northern Europe, of which Edward Munch and Vincent van Gogh were masters, and that had a new way of painting, a new way of painting without rules, or better, with different rules, because they only have to connect colors with emotions, even if they are in a violent way, expressed in a violent way. The important was to connect with the interiority. And individualism was the basis also of the research in the same years before the World War of Sigmund Freud's research on psychology, on human psychology, and this research was the basis of surrealism. Surrealism because the unexpressed feelings transformed in nightmares, in anxiety, in anguish, that had to be manifested in some way. And so surrealism became a balance between the need to express this anxiety, this panic, and at the same way the need to overcome them, and to save this interiority, and a balance between the apocalyptic and unreal sceneries of Salvador Dalí and Max Ernst, and the more mental and mysterious approach to reality of René Magritte and Yves Tanguy. At the same time, so this is a negative point of view. We are exploring the difference, no, between the difference of point of view of looking at the same event according to different way of being. And at the same time, I was telling, in the same period, was born in Italy another important movement which wanted to look ahead, to forget the war, to forget the destruction, and to celebrate the movement, the fast discoveries in technologies, and in a way of working and living that changed completely their lives. I'm talking, obviously, I'm talking about futurism. And this alternation between positive and negative point of view fulfilled all the, in art, fulfilled the whole 20th century. As for example, some of them, some movement criticized society, some of them celebrated society, as for example it happened with street art and pop art, because street art was a denounce of the society and of the feeling of not feeling well of a great part of the society of USA especially, and pop art at the same time was celebrated this new richness, this new habits, this new idol, for example, as movie idol, as celebrated by Andy Warhol as movie idol, or objects where became part of common life of everyday of everybody. And at the same time, abstractionism wanted to free completely from the figuration, to express feelings in a free way, or mental way, or free way, depends if we are talking about abstract expressionism or abstract geometric. And anyway, abstractionism wanted to confirm the superiority of art on photography, of a new way, means of reproducing images. So as digital art wanted to take this new means of reproducing images and transform them in a new way of producing art. So, what is important in all of this speech? The most important thing is that people who love art lovers, wants to escape from reality through art, through the beauty of art and the way of feeling that only art can give them. At the same time as artists, the executor of the artworks, need to express themselves through as art was a catharsis, a way of telling something that they won't be able to tell in another way, because we know that artists talk through images, and to free themselves from negative feelings and sensations they are feeling in the moment that they start to paint. So this is the cause why we asked artists present in this exhibition, 36 artists from European and non-European countries, as in 20th century, where artists met and contaminate themselves and started to talk about what was happening and how to change the way of expressing art in different ways, creating towards this dialogue, creating new pictorial languages. So we asked artists present in this exhibition to reflect over this terrible moment we are passing through, COVID event, to tell us how they see the future, the new future that is going to generate, because a new way of living is going to born after we will be out from this event, and to tell us how they see the future, in which way, positive or negative, or some of them gave a negative point of view, some of them a positive point of view, because the only thing we know now is that we don't know how can we change our lives, because we don't know if the future life will be the same as before or not. So the artist needs to communicate emotions. We decided to make this exhibition because we wanted art not to stop, because artists need to express themselves, above all after this difficult period, and people too need to keep this contact with art. It is very important to keep contact with art, because art lets people go in another dimension, in a parallel world, where felt safe, and forget the reality that is happening. So this dialogue between artists from several parts of Europe and non-Europe, was very important, is very important, because it's only through dialogue and connection and contamination that we can understand also the point of view of different individualities, but also different from land to land, because the approach to reality can be different, changing our land, and that's why we can see several ways of expressing with different styles. We only gave the theme, not tied the exhibition to a style, because we wanted to have more artists and let artists be free to express themselves in the way they preferred. We have artists not only from many regions of Italy, but also from Bosnia and Herzegovina, Croatia, and Austria, Germany, Belgium, Ivory Coast, Ukraine, Hungary, and Israel, because we wanted to discover the interpretation that artists in this period will go to the world future, that is in this particular moment, in this particular historical context, can be strongly tied and in harmony with the word hope. So next days we are going to broadcast pieces of Marta, which are little description of little 1 minute and a half of every artwork exhibiting in this in Natale in Arte exhibition, and to give life to this exhibition for all the period, for all the 15 days it will stay on, because we leave people, artists come here with friends or parents, or once they want to see this exhibition, because we want this to be a live exhibition every day. Each day people can come here and look at the artworks. This is what we are allowed to do, because we cannot make an opening ceremony as we do usually, but we want it to believe, because we want art not to die. Thank you and bye. See you next days.